Let's continue with Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. Chapter 3, The Wild Wood. The mole had long waited to make the acquaintance of the badger. He seemed, by all accounts, to be such an important personage, and though rarely visible, to make his unseen influence felt by everybody about the place. But whenever the mole mentioned his wish to the water rat, he always found himself put off. "It's all right," the rat would say. "Badger will turn up some day or the other. He's always turning up, and then I'll introduce you. The best of fellows. But you must not only take him as you find him, but when you find him. Couldn't you ask him here dinner or something?" said the mole. "He wouldn't come," replied the rat simply. "Badger hates society, and invitations, and dinner, and all sorts of things." "Well then, supposing we go and call on him," suggested the mole. "Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't like that at all," said the rat, quite alarmed. "He's so very shy. He'd be sure to be offended. I've never even ventured to call on him at his own home myself, though I know him so well. Besides, we can't. It's quite out of the question, because he lives in the very middle of Wild Wood." "Well, supposing he does," said the mole. "You told me the Wild Wood was all right, you know." "Oh, I know, so it is," replied the rat evasively. "But I think we won't go there just now, not just yet. It's a long way, and he wouldn't be at home at this time of year anyhow. And he'll be coming along some day, if you'll wait quietly." The mole had to be content with this, but the badger never came along, and every day brought its amusements, and it was not till summer was long over, and cold and frost and dreary ways kept them much indoors, and the swollen river raced past outside their windows with a speed that mocked at boating of any sort of kind, that he found his thoughts dwelling again with such persistence on the solitary grey badger, who lived his own life by himself in his hole in the middle of Wild Wood. In the winter time the rat slept a great deal, retiring early and rising late. During his short day he sometimes scribbled poetry, or did other small domestic jobs about the house, and of course there were always animals dropping in for a chat, and consequently there was a good deal of storytelling and comparing notes on the past summer and all its doings. Such a rich chap day it had been, when one came to look back on it all, with the illustrations so numerous and so highly coloured. The pageant of the riverbank had marched steadily along, unfolding itself in scene pictures that succeeded each other in stately procession. Purple loosestrife arrived early, shaking luxuriantly tangled locks along the edge of the mirror, hence his own face laughed back at it. Willow herb tender and wistful, like a pink sunset cloud, was not slow to follow. Comfrey, the purple hand in hand with the white, crept forth to its place in the line, and at last one morning the diffident and delaying dog Rose stepped delicately onto the stage, and one knew, as if its string instrument had announced it in a stately chord that strayed into the gablet, that June at last was here. One member of the company was still awaited, the shepherd boy for the nymphs to woo, the knight for whom the ladies waited at the window-sills, the prince that was to kiss the sleeping summer back to life and love. But when Meadow Sweet, debonair and odious in its amber jerkin, moved graciously to its place in the group, then the play was ready to begin.